Alrighty traders, George here, and time for a look at the trade of the week. I've got some great stuff to show you in this video, so make sure you watch the whole thing. Here's what you're going to see. For starters, we're going to look at the balance beam model and a trade setup that I shared with you just a couple days ago in the week ahead video. That's going to be on the Nasdaq futures. What I'll do is I'll give you a little snippet of the video that set it up so you can hear the actual description of what we were looking for, and then we'll go to the live charts, and I'm also going to show you one of my favorite signals for use on the balance beam model, and this is a tool that's very handy for those of you that have relatively small accounts and you want to position trade, maybe be a part of some of these big moves, but you really don't know how to make it happen. Well, I'm going to show you a great way to do that. And with that in mind, let's review the initial call. Looking at are a lot of the same key price points. We're at 41.94s. We've got to move up or down 30 points to either get to 42.25 or 41.65. That means following price up to those levels to get long or down to these levels to get short becomes less attractive because of how much room we have to go just to hit those levels. If we are going to make it up to that level, 42.25, watch for a reset, which means move it to your 5-minute chart and use a fib dot break to the upside for balance beam traders, and that will then be your continuation long signal. And likewise to the downside for 41.65s, look for the reset on a 5-minute fib dot break and you're good to go. Now we could also see a bounce from those extremities to come back in, and you can use your 5-minute fib dots to do that as well. I'm not going to get into that here because I want to keep this video short, but these key price points are going to dictate where the big moves come. So ultimately you want to be long over 42.25s, watch 42.60 en route to 4300. At that point, a fade will take us back down to 42.25s via 42.60, or we're going to go up and clear 43.20s and make it up to 4400. To the downside, we break below 41.65s. So there was your refresher. Now let's check out this chart. This is the continual contract, by the way, that Ninja does just for the big picture analysis. And here's what you need to know from this chart here. Since I did that video, basically middle of the day, Monday, the holiday, there's this huge spike that we just made. So from 42.26s all the way to the swing high here, that's 143.5 points in the Nasdaq. That's a huge move, and if you look to the left, it's basically clearing this first level through 4300 and then going into this second phase here where there's not quite as much trading, and then finding some overhead resistance as we drive up to the floor here. We never really quite made it to 4400, but we got pretty darn close, and obviously a move over 100 points is nothing to sneeze at. That was all set up by price taking over that 42.25 line. The first takeaway is to see how far price moved in favor and to see that we did indeed get a huge pop off of price staying over 42.25s and an acceleration over 4300s. We could also take note that as we broke back below 4300, we filled all the way back down, which would have been the next phase to the call there, but that's not what I talked about. But here's what I wanted to show you guys. If you've got smaller accounts and you want to look to position trade, this is a fantastic way to do it. This is still the balance beam model here, but I've got the fib dots on, the green and red dots here, and now I'm using the actual September contract here. So this is the analogous move up to the 42.20s I was talking about, where coming off of the lower price points from the video that I did, that's a fair bit to run up there and look for a continuation breakout. So you could look for a fade there, which actually went about 12 points in favor but would have only booked just under 2 on the fib dots. But really the main call there is to go long. So seeing price take over 42.25s plus a point and seeing those red fib dots broken to set it up, white fib candles, you're off to the races. Now here's the cool thing. The fib dots, I'll expand this so you can see it. This is phenomenal price action here. The fib dots get you out with just over 40 points gain. That means you could have gone in one contract with very little risk and be a part of a huge move. Okay. Now for a reset, a break over those red fib dots goes over 26 points in favor, but the fib dots here would have only netted a 3-point gain. A subsequent re-entry would have seen a loss of 15 points. That's the $300 analogous risk control that we have in comparison to the DSR. So we're talking about double the risk we see for day trading. Still not a lot of risk. And then another entry signal right there. Those fib dots get you out at 46 points gain, and yet another re-entry on a break of the red fib dots. They get you out with just over 36 points gain. So this maximum favorable excursion move that I just showed you, this is 143 points here, 143.5. The fib dots on the balance beam model, 5-minute chart here, these netted 110.5 points. That's a 77% capture of the maximum favorable of that entire move. By this point here, we're already smacking our head up into the overhead resistance and no need to be looking for re-entries at that point. Here is the setup to the downside. Notice that when we pulled back, that 4320 to 4300 price zone acting as a little bit of a buffer, and then when we break below 4300s, we go, in fact we just did this a second ago, we had gone 58 points in favor there with the fib dots still intact, preserving open position profit. So this has gone over 60 points in favor back to the downside, the same trade scenario that set this thing up. So the balance beams do not play favorites. The same psychology that allows price to move up will allow it to move down, and it's just a matter of putting yourself in position to be a part of it. The trade of the week is the Nasdaq long over 42.25 with over 143 points maximum favorable, and the 5-minute fib dot strategy I talked about netting over 110 points in a very short period of time there. You have a small account, this is a great way to position trade a significant market. So there's yet more belief building for you all. The balance beam model, position trading, does not get any better than that. Use the link at the bottom of the video. You can hop in the live room. You can see me do a little bit of day trading and some more big picture analysis like this in other markets. And until then, I'll see you back in the live room.